Greetings and salutations, one and all. Welcome to another exciting week of Fractured Orders. I'm glad you all could be here in time for this wonderful, fantastic session of Fantasy Flight game, Star Wars role-playing game, which myself and my wonderful players are going to provide to you. Should be a really fun session, as always, of course. And I'm really excited to get it started. It also appears that we're a few people short, two to be exact. But they should be here within a few moments. Should be no. Mouse is the only exception. Might be a tad bit later than normal, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and press on and let Mouse do Mouse things in the game until the player can arrive. Glad y'all could be here. If this is your first time here, welcome. Glad you could be here. If you want to see the previous 5 episodes, you can go ahead and scan through the YouTube archives or Twitch VODs or whatever you're watching this on. But for those of you that are watching live, hello. We do the show live every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time because a lot of our players are from Europe and greater parts of Asia, and so they need an earlier start time as far as US is concerned, so they aren't playing till 5 o'clock in the morning. Because not everybody can be like Will. So, we'll go ahead and unmute Discord. We'll see how everybody's been doing, at least the 3 people that are here currently, and then we will go ahead and get right into it. So, without further ado.
Okay.
It's kind of like, as I said, basically a light bulb just deciding to shatter, or a washer is deciding to suddenly turn on and just spook you. It's whew.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
And by everyone, I mean the 3 people who are on time.
Yay.
Don't tell the others, you're all my favorite players.
I'm recording this and it's gonna put it on the internet. Oh wait, you already do that.
It's already recorded. Everything's recorded. Well, I'm glad you all could be here. I believe Kai's probably just putting the kids to bed, and Mouse, just as you guys I'm sure saw mentioned, was going to be a little bit late today, so that's totally fine. Mouse is easy to play when Toasty's not here, because Mouse can just go hide in things and then be doing Mouse things the whole time. So why don't we go ahead and start from the top. Endless, hello. Tell us all about your week.
Well, it was my first week over university for my first semester.
Oh, right. Yeah, how's that going?
Good. Introductions and all that. Just, I'm going to be working with open source code with Linux, virtual machines, kind of like stuff like that. As I said, open source, open source code, stuff like that, where you can basically share with people and people can change it. And tomorrow I'm gonna have to wake up early to get to a class that's gonna be kind of revolved around group coursework and stuff like that. So hopefully I won't oversleep and miss that, because we will be assigned, and I'm pretty sure I should be there. So
yeah,
thing gets planned.
If you feel like you need to duck out early, just let me know. I'm sure we can handle it. I know that you, out of all the players, play the latest. So
Not anymore. He's with me now.
Oh, right. Yeah. So actually, not as bad then, huh?
I mean, after it's over, I have to go and sleep. So at least I get some sleep, so I don't have to wake up at like noon, then miss my whole class, which is going to be a bummer for me.
We'll be sure to end on time then, so you can get the most amount of sleep. How's that sound?
I mean, you don't need to do it, but because timers and all. But thanks, I appreciate them.
Yeah, no problem. Kai, hello.
Hello.
Glad you could be here. I assume all the children's made it to sleep.
Not really, but my wife is handling that. So I got to duck out.
Perfect. I think we talked about that last week, where you can at least have an excuse on Thursdays, like time for game. Yeah. I gotta go. So I guess it's your turn.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Is everybody recovered in your house?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone is fine. Yeah,
Good.
quickly.
What else has been going on this week for you?
Well, it's been a pretty fun week. I got to game with my other group, and I got to go out with my friends, drink some beers, and yeah, pretty social week. It's been
Nice.
fun. Yeah.
That's way too much people interaction for me personally, but great, good. Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It's I don't usually have that much time, stuff like that.
True, yeah.
We have to make time, right?
Yeah, you do. You really do have to make time. It's why it's actually why I run games, because I figure if I'm gonna spend 12 hours doing something a week, it might as well be something I love doing, as opposed to just like
definitely.
nothing. Well, that's good. Fantastic. Mulan, hello.
Hello.
How's your week been?
It's been an interesting week. I play a game with my friends called Werewolves of Miller's Hollow. It's like a board game. I don't know if people are aware of it, but it's a board game where it's kind of like Mafia but on steroids. And a friend of mine and I randomly decided to get a few of us together to go to a meetup to play it with like a much larger group of people and also strangers. And it was quite an interesting experience because they play a slightly different version and they play a much more passive way, where we play a very aggressive way. So there was a slight clash there, but it ended up being fun. And then I'm just getting things ready for all the things in life. I'm doing an installation in Ibiza next week, so getting things ready for that. Yeah, so that's about it, but all good things. Ooh, food.
Cool.
Well, he goes and grabs food. Z, hello, welcome.
Hey.
How's your week been?
Pretty uneventful.
Yeah.
Second week of classes for me. Speaking of Linux, my teacher for my Linux class, probably the worst teacher I've ever had. So that's fun. And there isn't an option to swap to another teacher for that class. It's great.
Well, that's awkward and terrible.
Yep.
Is it just like there's no
hate that
option
shit.
that you can make, or is it like literally it's the only person that teaches
It's the only class that still has open
of course.
slots.
Makes
So,
sense since it's the worst, obviously.
Yeah. Like half of the class stopped showing up after the first day. It's bad.
Hooray. Oh, that's fantastic, I guess. I hope that all gets worked out, or you struggle
Who
through
knows?
and survive. I
Yeah.
feel like posting the gif from Tropic Thunder of Robert Downey Jr. just saying "survive" to you. That's how I feel about that situation right now. Anything else besides class?
Nah, not really.
Fantastic. Mouse appears. The last message at approximately 1 minute ago was everything is on fire. So I don't know.
Sounds like Linux.
It's possible Mouse may be on fire as well. Who knows? Because everything constitutes everything that is available in perception. So for me, I have let's see, what did I do this past week? On Friday, as you all know, I think I mentioned last Thursday, I ran a game on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday last week. So it was playing a little bit of catch up with one of my groups, with the Stars Without Number group. So ran basically 2 games in the space of 4 days for them. Then ran the game for you guys. Then ran the Siege game. Then on Saturday, I thankfully had nothing to do except for work. So I just kind of chilled out and caught up on all the videos. And then Sunday ran Sci-Fi Gay game, and then Monday, I actually got to play in my Blades in the Dark game again. We had been off for a little bit because the GM was moving, so I actually don't run that game. I actually just play in that game, and it was a lot of fun because we're all a bunch of fucking psychopaths, as Blades in the Dark should be, in my opinion. So then on Tuesday, I wanted to play Divinity, but Megan abandoned me. And then on Wednesday, I wanted to play Divinity, but Megan abandoned me. So I basically just played Dota and RimWorld for the past 2 days straight. Although today I was actually productive and I went to the store and got groceries and lunches for the week and stuff like that. So
That's good.
Yeah, so really busy week, I guess, for me since I've seen a group of you. And this is also the part of the story where I tell you all that next week on the 5th, we will not be playing because I will be in Colorado. So,
Perfect.
yeah.
I had to schedule a doctor's appointment that day.
Perfect.
Anyway.
Yeah. So if you have something you need to do on Thursday next week, go ahead and do it. Because I will be driving to Colorado from Florida.
Jeez.
And then flying back from Colorado back to Florida.
I was gonna ask, is this your move or?
No. This is Jess. We're getting her stuff there because I am not going up there yet. So we're getting all her stuff and stuff that she needs there. And so I will be helping with the drive because it's like 26 hours that we're gonna do.
It's a long drive.
We're gonna do in 2 days because St. Louis is like right in the middle, so it'll be a nice, easy place to stop along the way. So yeah, lots of driving in my future, but that's okay. I actually really like road trips, so I don't mind driving for a very long time. If there's cruise control. If there's not cruise control, I want to kill myself. But we're probably planning on leaving like late at night so that we can get to where we need to get to. So. But yeah, so next week, no orders, unfortunately. But that doesn't mean we can't have as much fun as possible this week. Now, I'll remind everybody kind of the basic rundown of what happened. You all were guests, and I'm using air quotes for that, to the Zul'Zan Alliance, where there was some weirdness that happened where they tried to recruit you, but they also told you were free to leave because they didn't want to hold you. They realized that you kind of just like got in the middle of a bad situation. There wasn't any. I mean, there was some investigation of like the compound you were at in the jungle. There was some, I think, tension between the group themselves about like what the next step was, if they were going to pursue this offer that had been given to you. As far as you guys can determine, it seems like the Zul'Zan Alliance wants a peace between them and the Janus Corporation. But knowing that they would not be good at negotiating that, they're kind of reaching out to a third party, who is you guys, to kind of speak on their behalf so that something can be worked out in the end. And so I think that was kind of where the decision or what the decision that the party had to make was basically at that point. Do we help them? Do we not? Do we try and, I think it was squashed pretty quickly about trying to like break into the compound and figure out where this person that was kidnapped was, because you guys didn't really do any investigation or see where that person might be being kept in the compound, which is obviously something that may have been happening. But you all got into a speeder with kind of a hungover pilot, and he drove you, also apparently a nature lover, as he began explaining to you all of the wonders of Coruscant, and then also explained to you that it was Bloodhawk mating season, and unfortunately you guys ran across quite the murder of Bloodhawks that kind of swooped down upon you, leaving some minor damage on Xian throughout that ordeal. But you're able to make it back all in mostly one piece, and kind of get back to the ship, make sure everything was okay, and then begin the discussion of what to do next, in addition to the fact that the party is now fully aware that Xian is a Force user. I think that was kind of like one of the big revelations of last session, was that while there was some suspicion on some people's cases, the fight with the Bloodhawks kind of revealed in a not so inconspicuous manner that Zian is indeed a Force user, and so that kind of left mixed results and tastes in the people's mouths. And I think that the big incident that was seen was that Kin actually fell into some really like deep-seated programming where he was told to capture or kill any Jedi, and that was kind of the word that was used, is Jedi, which everybody might know stories of the Jedi. They know the Jedi are like the ones, they probably like the extent of like the base knowledge 500 years ago is the fact that the Jedi won the Galactic Civil War, right? Like that's probably like the thing that is told to people. That the Jedi, maybe not necessarily, you know, the canon characters that we are all aware of, but we know that that was some sect of the Jedi, and so they were kind of great heroes of the galaxy, and that's basically what we understand about the Jedi in a basic sense, you know, because we're so far in the future at this point. But it also left some perhaps questions as to Kin's loyalty, knowing that the Jedi, and I'm using air quotes on that, were seen as like the heroes of the galaxy. Kin is a droid, has programming that kind of pushed him into a I wouldn't say blood rage. He was able to, well, actually I think he failed miserably on his one test, but discipline, yeah, but definitely brought to the forefront that, you know, Kin is a very old droid and perhaps wasn't on the winning side way back then, since he has this programming against Jedi who were seen as the heroes. And luckily, Mouse was quick on the uptake and able to deactivate Kin before any damage was caused, etc., etc. And that's kind of where we left off. Now, I think that where I want to pick up again is going to be like a couple of days later, because all of you have been gone for, you know, a certain amount of time, and there's stuff that needs to be done. You know, you need to make sure that you get supplies and get food and all that other fun stuff. So we're gonna fast forward just a little bit. We're not gonna miss anything important, obviously. We're gonna pick back up essentially where we left off, but I want it to be a couple of days later, simply because everybody has some strain and some wounds, and I want everybody just to reduce all that, just get rid of all that as if you had healed naturally over the course of however many days it would have taken. All right. So why don't everybody reset those back to their normal level, or 0 essentially. So that we can hopefully not kill you when stuff happens upcoming couple of sessions, because nobody wants that. So with that being said, there are a couple of administrative things that we need to take care of. First of all, we need to talk about what we spend experience on. So why don't we start from the top? Endless, have you spent any of your experience on anything for your character? And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, did I miss this last week? So I think we need to do like 2 weeks of what we spent our experience on. So Endless, has Dash spent any experience in the recent weeks?
So for this week, no, but for the previous week, I spent one on piloting planetary and first rank, and a second rank in light ranged. Ranged light, second rank.
So you're getting just a little bit better at the things that you would naturally do.
Yes.
Seems useful for the upcoming, perhaps tenseful, possibly needing a daring escape at some point sessions you're going to have. So that's great. Perfect.
Okay.
Next, Kai, has Kin earned it or used his experience for anything?
Last week, I got another rank in Iron Body, which allows me to reduce the critical.
Seems useful.
Yeah, for unarmed.
Seems useful when people are bringing vibro axes down upon your skull.
Yeah, and I'm saving up for something new.
Cool. Awesome. Saving up for something new. I like it. Next, Mulan, did Jack spend experience on anything the past 2 weeks?
So yeah, last week, Jax being very frustrated that his blaster got taken off him, spent some time practicing the concealment and kind of talking his way out of things. So he picked up a rank in deception and a rank in skullduggery.
Cool, yeah.
But then last week's XP he is not spent on anything.
Okay, fantastic. So again, everybody just kind of getting a little bit better at what they would naturally be doing. Next, Z. What about Zian? Zian spent any experience?
Yeah, got researcher, which reduces a black die per rank of researcher from all knowledge checks,
Really
and
good.
researching takes half the time. And smooth talker. So when I make a negotiation check, I can spend a triumph to gain a success equal to ranks in smooth talker, which is really not that great, but need it to go down the tree to get my force rating.
Yeah, and that's one of those things that like it starts off not that great, but if you get like 2 or 3 ranks, it could be significant on some triumphs there.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
I misspoke. I got a point in cool. A point in skullduggery. Skullduggery because he practiced hiding his gun better, and cool because he didn't actually go off on the people who took his gun. I think he deserved a bit of a. He kept his cool a bit better. So.
You did indeed. Good job. Awesome. I don't know what Mouse spent. If Mouse shows up, who appears to be having some tech issues, which is totally fine. Happens to the best of us. Trust me, I know all about it.
Can you hear me?
Oh.
Yay!
Hello? Yes.
Timing.
Is there? Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you, Toast. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
fantastic. No problem.
Go ahead and continue. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Well, I don't know how ready you are, but I was actually on you now.
Oh shit! I'm not that ready.
Okay,
what do you
fantastic.
want? What are you asking?
Well, all we've done is the recap. I just wanted to know if you've spent any experience points in the past 2 weeks.
No, I don't feel like there's been like a real good like training opportunity or anything that's happened that has really like expanded the character at all. So
that's totally logical. Perhaps something will come up in this session. We'll be able to address all that XP you're building up. Is everything still on fire?
No, I mean it wasn't literally on fire.
Oh, okay.
It's just a figurative fire.
Oh, gotcha.
But
well, we're glad you're here.
I'm glad I'm here too.
Because we didn't want to have to hide Mouse in one of the cargo holds for the session.
Oh, that's usually where she would hide.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm saying that. So the other thing we did is I reduced the strain. Everybody's back to their full complement of strain and wounds. So I reduced your strain. That's the only other thing that happened.
So
but now it's been a couple of days since the last conversations that were being had after you guys had returned back to the ship. But it is that magical time of the day where we all get to see how powerful the dark side is.
Okay.
In the universe. So why doesn't everybody go ahead and roll Destiny for me?
And I am a light side paragon at this point, so we get 1 extra light side destiny point.
Good thing.
Don't need those points. Look at that.
Wow.
Woohoo!
Let me find it. There it is. Woo!
What?
Light side!
You gotta have to make your destiny box bigger, Jordan.
Might have to, yeah. There's a lot of light side here. Alright, so it's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8. So there are 8 light side points and 1 dark side point. Good lord. That is a lot. So everyone has kind of achieved this zen-like quality. Everything appears to be going well. Everybody's healed up. The universe is a happy place. Nothing bad ever happens.
So I have 2 questions.
Yeah.
One, was there obligation?
So yeah, that's the next thing we're getting into.
Okay. And my second question is kin still deactivated?
Yeah, so well, that's the first thing I want to address when we get into
Okay.
it. But as far as obligation is concerned, obligation is triggered, and Dash, it is actually your obligation.
Oh, come on.
So Dash, it's your obsession obligation this time though. So everybody reduces their strength threshold by 1. Dash, you reduce it by 2. Thank you for that. But Dash,
That's what I felt about the strain.
you know what, I'm with you on that. To be fair, Dash, your obsession obligation is triggered, which is your obsession is to like kind of like weed out corruption wherever it is. So I think that within the past couple of days, you guys have probably done a little bit of research to just kind of make sure you're making the right decisions, and it's come to light that the Janus Corporation is, I mean, they're probably not evil in the sense that we would understand it in the Star Wars universe, but they certainly are immoral, and a lot of things have come to light about the Janus Corporation extorting people, a lot of preying on those that are weaker than them, absorbing these weaker entities and kind of changing their structures to gain a profit. And it seems like they are very credit motivated. It seems like that is kind of the driving force behind the Janus Corporation. And there's a lot of probably examples throughout your research into it that, you know, the weak and the poor have been preyed upon. People who have, you know, they're out there like identifying people who have like gambling problems and kind of easing like yeah, no, we'll totally give you a loan, and then easing them into becoming addicted and losing everything that they have, and then being able to use them for like almost slave labor, right? Be like, hey, well, if you can't pay it off, come work in the kitchens for 10 years and you'll be able to pay off some of it. So there's a lot of corruption there, perhaps. It seems like they pay off like the Coronet police force. There's some people that they have paid off within the Coronet police force to kind of turn a blind eye to some of their dealings. Not that they're illegal, but they are things that would be questioned or like published or stuff like that as well. So that's just a thing to think about. The Janus Corporation in general appears to be quite corrupt. And so because that's your obsession, it has triggered your obligation, therefore causing you to be a little bit kind of, you know, more against Janus perhaps, but causing you some stress as well.
I was gonna say, how is something corrupt if it's already corrupted, but then you brought up law enforcement, and I'm like, oh, now I understand what you mean.
Yeah, it doesn't, I mean, like, just knowing that the Janus Corporation is corrupted is enough to, you know, get you all fired up, but you're not able to control it, is the representation of this obligation being triggered, right? That's kind of the deal, is the fact that you're not.
Because what I mean is, at this point, I don't consider them a legitimate organization, but I think the law enforcement aspect would tick me off. Maybe yeah. Even if they brought up politics, I would be even more fired up. But
oh yeah, they definitely influence politics. Like they definitely they want people who, because that's the thing is the Janus Corporation, from what you guys have been able to discern, does everything within the letter of the law. So their biggest danger to the Janus Corporation would be perhaps a politician that tries to pass a law that makes something illegal that they're doing. So yeah, no, they definitely influence that in a lot of ways. so that they can continue to make their money.
Okay, well, I dislike them.
But yeah, so the obligation trigger and the reduction in threshold represents the fact that you dislike them and you've kind of always disliked them, but you have like something triggers you and you just can't ignore it any longer.
I just imagine triggered under fucking Dash's portrait.
Correct.
His portrait slightly shaking like every trigger goes.
Yeah. It's flashing like rainbow colors, the yellow, like it's usually like yellow, red, and orange that it flashes between.
Yeah.
So
just PTSD.
Fantastic.
You were saying?
So as I said during the recap, the last thing that we kind of left off with was the fact that Kin had kind of seen red for a second. But was able to, or Mouse was able to deactivate Kin. So I think that the first scene that I want to see is probably Mouse. You've probably run some diagnostics on Kin, right, just to make sure everything's okay.
Yeah.
But there's probably a moment where you like go to reactivate Kin, and it's probably just you and him to start off with, right, unless anything happens. And I want to see that scene. So like you flick the button and Kin, you power back up, and you get the vision and the HUD displays reading all of your all of your diagnostics and stuff.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think it's important to note that there's probably a scene where somebody, I don't know if anybody would really care or not, but because the thing is, like, I've never flushed Ken's core at all. Like,
Right.
I've never reset him or anything like that, which is something that you're supposed to do to droids, apparently, to keep them from going, like, crazy, having, like, subroutines that get all fucked up and stuff. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, no, we can hear you.
Yeah.
When I talk, we can hear me very, very like dully through your microphone.
Anyway, I apologize. So I think the conceit, or there should be a scene where, like, maybe somebody asks, like, aren't you gonna I can't remember the term. Aren't you gonna flush his, like, core
Yeah,
or whatever?
Memory wipes?
Yeah, memory wipes.
Yeah, are you gonna wipe
the
his
memory
memory?
core? Yeah, I guess who would ask that of Mouse?
I don't know. Maybe it's just Mouse's internal struggle. It's like, maybe I should wipe my memory. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
but then am I doing Ken a disservice by doing that?
Right.
So I don't know. I don't think Mouse would end up doing it, but I just want to. I feel like it's worth noting.
Yeah, I think maybe the scene is, maybe it's the same scene. Maybe it's the, like, you go to flick the on switch, right, and your hand kind of stops for a moment, and you're like, maybe I should try and find that and remove it so it doesn't cause problems.
Yeah.
And there's like that struggle there where, like, your hand just kind of in between flicking the switch, and then eventually you just flick the switch on and Kin begins to boot up.
So just a question, because I feel like would you try to reprogram that part before you
No.
reactivate? Oh, all
See,
right.
here's the thing: is like, Mouse treats Ken like any other person. So, like, this is not something that, like.
No, but we
you
didn't
wouldn't-
have that conversation right at the end.
Yeah. So this is not something that, like, if you found a real person in real life who had, like, an issue like this, you couldn't just, like, turn them off and then, like, program it out of them, without some, like,
Yeah.
high level psychology shit.
Right. Yeah.
But
Hundreds of hours in the doctor's office, right?
Yeah, pretty much. So this is just the kind of thing that you would talk through. Like, if you were just like a regular two people having an issue, that if somebody had an issue, you would talk through the issue. So, I mean, that's kind of Mouse's whole idea on this, is like, this is something that can overcome.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's awesome.
All right.
So Kin, you wake up, and
Yeah.
you're probably in that area of the ship that you and Mouse have kind of been, like, hiding out in. Like, Mouse has her little den, like, inside of the panel network.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's like, well, the ship has a an engineering bay and stuff like that. So
yeah.
I think that's pretty much Mouse's whole like area now.
Yeah.
Is like, yeah, the whole engineering area.
So yeah, kind of the dull hum of the engine that's just, it's not in flight, right? It's just keeping power going to the ship. You know, and the beeps from the panels and consoles around you as you awaken, Kin.
All right, so Kin will power on, and when he gets as you say, his vision back, and it heads up displays, flashing and different symbols showing up, and the first thing he would ask, did I hurt anyone?
No, you didn't hurt anybody. Yeah, you didn't hurt anybody.
Did you fix the problem?
Well, I mean, it's not really my problem to fix, Ken. It's your problem.
This is scary. It's not a part of my normal programming. I would not act like that in normal circumstances.
I realize that, Ken, but I mean, you have to try. Like, this is part of being a regular person.
So Kin has been thinking about this as a problem that needs to be removed, like it's a natural part of him, and hearing this, he will kind of retreat a bit and just sit and calculate and think about what to do next.
We see Kin deep in thought.
Yeah.
In the engineering bay. Do you say anything else, Mouse, while you have this opportunity?
Yeah. Kin, I'm glad you're all right. I was worried that we would have hurt somebody, and then, well, I don't know what we would have done after that, but I mean, if it came down to it and nobody wanted you on the ship anymore, I mean, I would have stayed with you.
I understand. Could you get Jax, and then after a few minutes, yeah.
Yeah, I'll go get Jax. Do you need anything?
I think I need to see if I can talk to Zian normally, but I need someone who can disable me if I get threatened.
Oh, okay. Well, I can do that.
Yes, but I need someone else as well.
All right. So I guess, yeah, that's...
Yeah, so you go find Jax. Jax, where do they find you?
So Jax is probably taken over, like, there probably was like an armory or a storeroom that Jax has kind of turned into an armory. He's probably got like a little table there where he kind of cleans his guns now. And yeah, he'd probably be there. Also, I feel like so first of all, in the time where they've been doing their research, Jax would have spent his time not researching Janice, but Zulzan, or however you say them. Zulzan.
Yeah, so
not because he doesn't trust them, but actually because he has the sense that that's who he wants to back, but he wants to know more about them before he throws his weight behind them. And also, like, very soon after the whole Kin incident, and I'm talking like minutes rather than days, he would have wanted to have a private conversation with Zian as well.
Okay, so maybe let's see that before Mouse comes and gets you for this scene. So Zian, where would you spend a lot of your time during the time period?
Trying to make myself useful to anybody that wants help, and if nobody wants help, just kind of meditating in like a room if he's got a room assigned, basically.
Yeah. We all have to sleep somewhere, so yeah.
This conversation, like the way I picture it is Jax would have, like, after Kin was shut down and Mouse probably, maybe Jax helped Mouse get Kin to the engineering bay or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like instantly after that, Jax went to talk to Xian.
All right.
Yeah, so I would have approached him and been like, we need to talk. And
Certainly, friend Jack.
obviously a bit pissed off. And Jax just looks at Xian and goes, next time you ask someone to help you build a weapon, you should let them know what they're getting themselves into.
It's not really a weapon. I'm horribly skilled in it. It's a symbol and a tool.
It's also something that when activated can cut through almost anything, including people. I can understand if in your, and then he does very obvious air quotes, beliefs is a symbol, but to the rest of the world and those who get like in contact with it, it's very much a weapon. Quite a fearsome weapon.
I figured you would be pleased. You love your own weapons so much.
I have no issues with you wanting a weapon. I have issues with you asking me to find a part that it is going to be used for a weapon without letting me know that, because people who I am dealing with might get the wrong impression.
I'm sorry if I put you in any tight spots. It was never my intention. I merely wanted to be more useful for the group. I'm in all actuality, there's most likely never going to be a case that's going to be used as a weapon. However, just the fact that it exists is a deterrent to many, many people.
I don't like secrets with the people that I deal with.
And again, I sincerely apologize for that. I didn't want to be treated any differently. I wanted to be valued based on my merits as who I am, not because of what I am.
What we are is part of who we are. Right now, you're being valued on the fact that you were deceitful. And then after saying that, Jax just turns and walks away.
And are you saying? And he kind of calls out to you, and as you're walking away, as he's walking away, Xian says, "And you have nothing to hide yourself?"
Not like that. It's different.
Oh, it's different for you then, huh?
Yes.
Then I'm sure you have very good reasons for any secrets you might be keeping. In kind of like a, he's saying it in kind of like a calling you out tone, but not superly smug about it.
Yeah, and Jax would think about that, and he'd look back, and he'd be like, "There's a difference between hiding your past and hiding your identity. I've been very open with my background and what I am and why I am the way I am. I may have spared some of the details, but I feel like you are no longer the person who you were when we first signed on to the ship together." And then he does walk off.
Okay.
Okay. So the tension builds between the two, but also there's that glimmer of well, maybe it's not the worst thing that's ever happened. Maybe you just need to get to know somebody new in Jax's mind. But I know how Jax feels about that, and I'm sure we'll see more of that in the future. So real quickly before Mouse goes and finds Jax, I want to talk to Dash. Dash, what about you? What's consisted of the past couple of days for you? Just kind of in the downtime, just hanging out. Ship maintenance? Is it getting everything in order, getting your ducks in a row? Is it hanging out with RK, right? Like, catching up with him and
Oh.
making sure everything's fine with him.
I was like, who's gonna be the first person to speak? Endless, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just having bad
Oh, my.
connections.
Could none of you hear me?
No, we
I-
can
I
hear
can-
you.
You were fine.
Oh, okay. Oof.
Wait,
Endless.
why was my name mentioned? Bad connections over here with,
No.
accommodation.
I was asking what you've been doing during the downtime for the past couple of days.
Oh, so, other than just actually finding out about that, and of course he's currently miffed that he has more of a reason to at least help Arcade try and get out before they can actually use them. He would mostly be looking at the ship, as he hasn't been with it for a couple of days due to having to be with the Zulzan in their custody. So nothing
Due to
much.
your impromptu incarceration.
Impromptu incarceration, yes, but nothing much. Nothing just like shocking, other than just realizing that apparently now that, well, the thing is, like, he having said that what he knows and kind of like shitting, like, he kind of like understands the situation more on a, let's say, warfare type of thing, like, oh, Kin was once a enemy of I guess Zayan's ancestors, and technically they have some sort of like bad history, which he, hopefully, having said what he said while trying to diffuse the situation, thought that maybe after 500 years things like that would result, but his attempts were unfortunately followed. So he kind of like thinks like, would this crew even hold up after this like this kind of like not differences, but conflictions between interests and programming and history and
So generally, it sounds like Dash is having some deep, like, kind of seated issues about, like,
well, because
am I gonna
he's
keep
not
the crew
technically
together?
involved, because Dash is with Kin, Jax is with Kin, Zion is technically for himself, and he's kind of like he doesn't really have much of a connection to either Zion or Kin, other than he's just that he's kind of like that one friend who's like neutral in a conflict. He's just like, he's questioning like, will my friends stop fighting? Like, will they resolve it? It's like,
Yeah.
because he's not a diplomat like Zion. He's just there to help if needed, but not
Just-
that much of a help to try and convince people to
If
stop
people
fighting a war.
talk to you about it, you just throw up your hands and be like, "I'm just the pilot. I don't know. Talk to them."
No, it's not like dismissive, but it's like the way it's like you want to help, but you don't know how to do it. It's just like asking you to
Gotcha.
like perform like to heal someone, or like heal someone back to life. You want to do it, but if you don't have the knowledge, like, how are you gonna save someone if you don't know how?
Gotcha.
In
So
that sort of sense.
you're just kind of-
I'm just like
You're just kind of amicable with all parties whenever
amicable. Yeah.
whenever addressed. Okay, it seems like a good place to be in the current meta of what's going on.
Yeah, the current neutral party.
So yeah, for some reason, Dash has become the voice of reason, and I think that should scare most people. So now we jump back to the present, and Mouse, you find Jax inside of his newly built armory. Probably looks like a shabby workshop at best.
There's only like 2 guns in there right now.
Right, yeah, exactly. And you get him to come with you back to the engineering bay. And so Jax walks in. Jax walks in. What do you say to him when Jax arrives?
Jack's friend, I need you and Mouse to monitor and be ready to shut me down when I talk to Cian. Your blaster on stun should help the process.
Jax looks at Mouse and goes, "Will a blaster on stun affect a droid?"
Yeah, I mean, well,
No.
an ion blaster would be better, but
We don't got those. Carlinian's talking.
I don't know. Mechanically, in this game, does stun even matter? Like,
Really?
It acts the same. It
Yeah.
does. It causes straight damage.
Oh, I see.
But iron weapons usually can deal more damage.
Yeah,
Basically, it's the difference.
Okay, cool. So stun does the same thing, but ion would be like
so
steroids version. Of
mechanically, ion have higher base damage, ion weapons, but they only do stun damage.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
that's how the mechanics work in the game.
All right, I'll take out my blaster, like set it to stun, put it back in the holster, be like, I'm just so you know, like I'm happy to help, but I'm not gonna shoot you, like especially not to save that Jedi.
I mean, what's wrong with the Jedi? He's okay. He hasn't done anything wrong. Just because he's a Jedi doesn't mean that he's a different person.
I'm trying to change my behavior, but this programming is different. I'm not sure if it will work.
Jack, and throughout the last couple of weeks, Jackson's been thinking about this, because Jax has been in situations where he's been in a situation where the people who he's working for want him to do something, and he doesn't really want to do it, but they're the people he's working for. And he also acknowledges that while like Kin is, attempting to be more of a free spirit, he does still have programming. So, Dr. that, you have just be aware some things like they might just be coded into you, and it's difficult to deal with. But like you have to just be aware. I don't know your history, but you need to try and figure out what exactly is triggering that kind of kill mode that we saw.
Yes, I think I've isolated it, but I'm not sure.
Cool. Jack says, "All right, well, let's do this."
By the way, side note, I think this is kind of like an analogy of like backwards. It's just like you can change who you are and you have to live with it. And in a way, if you ask me, just from our perspective.
Yep. Pretty much it.
Yeah, but it's a droid, but it's like it can apply to people because, it's like who you are. Sometimes you just can't change it. You can't reprogram yourself. Well, in this case, you can't, but since you want to be a normal person, you have to live with it. So,
Yeah.
GG for Kin. Character building.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway.
Character building. All right,
Yep.
so I want to see specifically what Mouse, what you say to Zian when you go to get Zian to like introduce your rabid dog to the Jedi again.
Oh, he's not my rabbit dog. All right. So I guess I would go find Zian. I want to know where Zian's holding up on the ship. Like everybody has their own like little personal spaces now.
I just have a room. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
you
assuming
have
there's
rooms.
a single room for everybody, basically.
Mhm.
Or if people want to double up, that's fine. Zian kind of takes one of the smaller rooms to give people more room, since he's a very, like, simple individual. And his door's probably gonna be closed because he's meditating.
Okay.
So
is it just super plain right now? Because I'm gonna check up on you later and see how you've decorated your room later. Yeah.
no, you can
This is like the first adventure, so I don't imagine that a lot of us have like a bunch of decorations and stuff.
I mean, so if you knock or use the intercom or something, he'll kind of invite you to come in,
Okay.
and he'll be like kind of levitating a little bit off the floor, kind of cross-legged with some other objects around. You know, in that very stereotypical kind of Jedi meditation thing.
So he's levitating?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Oh
me see if I
my god. Or yeah.
Like, here we
Can-
go. Found like the perfect representation of what's going on.
Perfect.
Cian,
And
are you Cian? Are you you're flying?
I'm not really flying. I'm becoming one with the Force.
Okay.
And
That's
if you
cool.
like poke around and you see anything, there's really nothing in here aside from like a bottle of what you assume is some sort of alcohol.
I guess Mouse doesn't really like believe in space magic that much, so she's trying to like
Space
figure out how you're doing it.
Do you like grab like a stick and like wave it underneath and then like up above check
Yeah.
for strings?
I love the idea
Yeah.
that Cian has a stick in his room exactly
Well,
for the purpose
I
of people waving under him.
No,
It's
Zian
true,
doesn't.
it's true.
I guess
Zian
I
does
just
not
like,
have a stick.
I guess I just like pass my arm under him and like
Yeah.
He kind of
over
looks at
him
you.
and-
I kind of look at you with like kind of a chuckle, like there's no tricks. And
Well,
kind
I
of,
mean, there is one trick. You are flying.
technically it's not flying. And I like uncross my legs and kind of stand up. It's like, what brings you here?
Well, I was wondering if you wanted to maybe like talk to Ken again.
How is he doing? Is he all right?
Well, I mean, he's fine. There was nothing physically wrong with him. I just deactivated him.
Okay.
And I ran diagnostics and I
So then if
reactivated him.
well, if there's nothing wrong, then what do you need me for?
Well, I mean, he still has that Imperial kill command thing going on.
Ah. So you wish to use me as a bit of a guinea pig to see if stop it?
Well, I mean, I'm not trying to make you a guinea pig. I think Ken just needs to work through this himself.
Well, I definitely believe in the power of self-help, so sure.